Do you like playing with balls? No, I'm not talking about footballs. I mean your balls. Our friends at Manscaped, the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, want you to shave your pubes with the Tom Brady of ball trimmers, the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Only the GOAT technology for the greatest balls of all time. When you're going towards the end zone, make sure you use the right tools for the job and choose Manscaped. 2 million men worldwide trust them, so join the movement with our exclusive offer by using code DTR at manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping.
Stafford under pressure, going to tuck it, and he's in! Darrell Henderson, he's off and running! As Woods, touchdown! Cooper Kupp just went up and took it away.
Van Jefferson for the touchdown.
Aaron Donald smothers him. Jalen Ramsey put the pop on him. Sacked by Leonard Floyd, having a day again.
Darius Williams with a diving hit. Jordan Fuller comes up with his second interception of the night.
All right, guys, welcome back to Downtown Rams. As always, I'm your host, Alexis Kraft, joined here with my co-host, Jake Ellenbogen. And guys, the NFL season is here, so you need a sportsbook with integrity and longevity like BetUS. You may already know this, but BetUS have been pioneers in the sportsbook industry for almost 3 decades, thriving and paying their loyal customer base. That is betus.com, and they've loads of bonuses. Join now or call 800-69-BET-US. That is 800-MY-BET-US. You receive a 125% sign-up bonus by using bonus code RAMS125. They have re-up and referral bonuses also. BetUS is known as America's favorite sportsbook for a lot of reasons. BetUS has all your NFL games with team and player props and loads of futures. You can bet UFC matches, props, PGA golf, round matchups, and live betting on most sports as well. The online casino has hundreds of games, and the racebook has all your horse tracks. They have every bet type imaginable, and the sharp BetUS mobile platform is easy with full betting options. Follow my lead and get your phone, online, and social sports betting partner with integrity and longevity like I did. BetUS. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS. So, Jake, we are coming to everyone live after a Los Angeles Rams win in LA against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We are now 3-0, which is just a great feeling. It leaves us on top of the NFC West with the Cardinals, obviously very early, but, still something to be excited about. The Rams ended up beating the Buccaneers 34-24, which is somewhat close to our predictions. I had said 31-28. And can you remind me of what yours was?
Mine was 38-34, but really, while the score ended up close to what we were saying, it didn't really feel that close.
It didn't feel that close, I think, because the second half, the Rams really ran away with it, in my opinion. I mean, we absolutely dominated the game. I mean, the Bucs obviously had a few good plays in the second half, but they in no way, shape, or form kind of had their way with us. I mean, everything that they tried, we picked up on pretty quickly. We were able to stop most of what they were trying to do. And it was really fun to watch as a Rams fan, Jake. So let's get into it. I want to start with our defense because that was kind of what we felt going into this game was going to be the main focal point for us. That's who we felt was going to have the biggest challenge going up against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay offense. So that was something we were paying close attention to, as I imagine most fans were. And I felt like we did a really good job. Personally, there was obviously, some times where we had major lapses in coverage, especially in the secondary. That was not fun to see. But obviously we got the job done and, we did what we had to do for the most part. I mean, no game is going to be perfect. Obviously would like to see them clean that up a little bit as the season goes on, but it's only week 3, which seems crazy because it feels farther into the season. So when I see things like this happening, I have to remind myself it's only week 3. They have time to clean it up. And also we're playing against a very good offense. So I'm sure that their game plan going against Tampa Bay, I was a little all over the place. So anytime a lapse like that happened, it's kind of understandable. But other than that, I thought we did really well. We did a good job of pressuring Tom Brady. I did think that the Bucs offensive line actually played really well. when we got to Tom Brady, I felt like we capitalized for the most part. There was obviously a few instances where he got away from, like, I'm thinking of the one with Greg Gaines. There was one with Aaron Donald where Tom Brady kind of looked like Carson did last week, where he was like maneuvering away from these defenders, and he did a good job doing that. But we also did get to him a few times. Aaron Donald was able to get that strip sack, which was amazing. But yeah, just giving a little credit to Tampa Bay's offensive line. That's more about them doing a good job and not us doing a bad job. But Jake, what was your thoughts on the defensive front for the Rams going against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, you got to give a lot of credit to the Rams defensive front. This has been a team that has gotten some pressure, but I thought against one of the best offensive line in all of football, they really capitalized. They pressured Brady, they pushed him, they knocked him down, they sacked him. 3 sacks in this one for a total of 21 yards for a loss, including a strip sack that just luckily got recovered, literally caught by Giovanni Bernard, which was really weird. But look, the defensive line really did a nice job in this one. And I mean, I'll have to go back to the tape and, pinpoint exactly, who did what, but you had a quarterback hit from Floyd, you had a quarterback hit from Donald, Sebastian Joseph Day, Terrell Lewis, and even Kenny Young on the blitz. So I guess, even the front seven was really impressed with the Rams. They got after it, and here the game plan was very simple. They didn't care about how many yards they gave up. They were going to let Tom Brady continue to, dump it over the middle, and get it to Evans and get it to Godwin and get it to Tyler Johnson. They didn't want it to go to Gronkowski, but, they allowed like Bernard to catch 9 passes for 51 yards. Cameron Brate caught 4. Leonard Fournette caught 3. Even O.J. Howard caught a pass. Jalen Darden, Scotty Miller caught 2. I look at it like this, okay? The defensive scheme, the way they had it, I'm not worried about I'm not worried about anything about this defense right now, to be honest with you. The Buccaneers played in the Rams' hand, and it got to the point where the bend don't break. It became like there was no way Tampa could win the game if the Rams didn't turn the ball over. Tampa had to capitalize. They had to gain an extra possession. They had to cheat the system, so to speak. And we knew they couldn't do that, because Stafford was playing great football. The Rams were moving the ball really at will. I look at the 4 touchdowns from Stafford, and I'm like, well, he could have had 6. I mean, to be honest with you, I think the Rams took the foot off the gas pedal, so to speak. So, going back though, you look at the defensive line. I thought they gave Brady hell, and congrats to Brady for throwing 432 yards. But I mean, the Rams were okay with that. They allowed that, and that was just part of the defense. I think if it was a closer game, they would have played like they did early on in the game when they got the 3 and out. But when it became apparent that the offense was clicking on all cylinders, there was no need to try and sell out to get that 3 and out and give up a big play over the top. They just took away the big play entirely. And they said, you know what, if you want to beat us, you're going to have to play that, dink and dunk game, and you're going to run out a lot of clock, and you're down 2 possessions, 3 possessions. Running out clock just helps us. So they felt like it was a win-win either way. And that's why they did it. And so, hats off to Raheem Morris, who, let's be honest, I mean, Tom Brady and company hadn't lost since the Rams and Chiefs back-to-back losses at 27-24. They went on a tear against, 66 and 62 combined record for opponents. And one of those games came down the wire, 31-26, was against Raheem Morris's interim as an interim head coach. It was against his Falcons. So people forget that Raheem Morris saw this offense when they were doing that quote unquote tear. And not going to lie, it was very similar to last season, except I thought the Rams dominated that game. But still, the Buccaneers did a nice job of staying in it. And, on top of it, I think there were some really bad calls in that one. In this game, there really weren't any pass interference calls that really altered the game or kept a drive alive. So I look at it like the Rams just kicked him in the mouth and continued to do so until all the teeth came out.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was fun to watch. I'll say that. Obviously, selfishly, I kept hoping for more sacks. I think it's fun to see Tom Brady get sacked. No shade. But I was hoping that we could, get to him a lot, and we definitely capitalized when we were able to do that. And again, you know, our defense, like I mentioned earlier, we felt that our defense was going to have the biggest challenge going against the Bucs. Our offense, obviously, we had a lot of faith in our offense, and not that we didn't have faith in our defense, but the strength of Tampa Bay is obviously Tom Brady and that offense. And we did a very good job of shutting them down and keeping their opportunities minimal today, which is very exciting. So moving on to our offense going against Tampa Bay's defense, obviously really good game. We saw Cooper Kupp have 2 touchdowns. We saw Tyler Higbee have a touchdown. We saw Deshaun Jackson finally have his first touchdown as a Los Angeles Ram, which we all kind of felt like was coming. Sean McVay has been vocal about wanting to give Deshaun more opportunities and, stating that the Rams had to do a better job of getting him the ball, which they definitely did this week. So, Jake, I'll let you go first. What was your overall thoughts on the Rams offense this game?
Well, I thought that they were really calm, cool, collected. I mean, you go back, you watch the first few possessions. Stafford wasn't his best, and at times he kind of looked like he was Jared Goff. I mean, missed a couple throws that are gimmies for him normally, and the ball didn't have quite the velocity. I even made a tweet kind of joking, wasn't entirely serious, but I was like, are we sure that thumb's okay from last week because he hit his surgically repaired thumb on a helmet last week? But no, he came back and came out firing and ended up with 27 of 38 for 343 yards, 4 touchdowns, averaging 9 yards per completion. Only took 1 sack and had 134 passer rating. Got the ball involved with Deshaun Jackson, who caught 3 passes for 120 yards and a touchdown, including the 75-yarder you mentioned, which was probably my favorite moment of the entire game because that was like the moment where we didn't realize it at the time because you have to play the game, right? You can't just obviously call it a win, right after the half. But the Rams, converted a perfect 2-for-1. We know, the basketball term, where you get 2 possessions right before the half, and that way you can hold on to the ball right before the half and you can get the last shot. Well, the Rams essentially, their 2-for-1 was that they scored, and because the Patriots took so long to score on their drive, they left enough time, around like 4 minutes, for the Rams to roll it all the way down, score a touchdown right before they got the ball after they deferred, and they get the ball in the second half. And they perfected it by hitting Deshaun Jackson for 75 yards. And at that moment, they really won the game. It was not really close after that. That was when they kind of took over because you're looking at a 28-14 lead at that point. And you could say, maybe, okay, the Rams kind of took the gas, their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. But, regardless, they had to do what they had to do. They scored 17 in the third quarter. They scored 3 in the fourth. That was enough to get a 10-point win. And really, in all likelihood, I mean, you could call that, a 17-point win. And, if you're looking at it, I mean, it was a garbage time touchdown. They weren't really even trying. No, I was really impressed. Cooper Kupp and that rapport just transferred over. I'm sure, I'm sure Tampa wanted to take him out of the game. You just couldn't. I mean, he just does his thing, and he muscles to get open. 9 catches, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had 12 targets. You have Van Jefferson, 4 catches, 42 yards. You have Tyler Higbee getting involved, 5 catches, 40 yards, a touchdown. Robert Woods, 3 catches, 33 yards. And then even Sony Michel got involved. So, the offense was just really well put together, and it's only game 3 with a brand new offense for Matthew Stafford at the helm. So I just got to say, I think this team is going to be so well tuned later on in the year. We could see, 50 burgers if they want them. But this game, they just wanted to make sure they got the win, and can't really fault them when you have a quarterback you're going up against that in the Super Bowl came back from 28-3. No lead should be considered safe against Tom Brady. They did a great job to make sure that never came to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, something I kind of want to touch on before it slips my mind, because this is something that I think probably a lot of people are noticing. It's kind of the running back situation. So Darrell Henderson obviously out for this game. He has that rib injury that he got, last game, and we weren't really sure if he was going to play or not. Then this morning, very early in the morning, might I add, we got this notification that he was out today. So Sony Michel was going to kind of be the starter. Sony Michel then actually start the game. Weirdly, Jake Funk went in to start the game. But doesn't it kind of feel like that we didn't? I mean, maybe for a few select plays, it kind of feels like Jake Funk never came back into the game once Sony Michel went in.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. It might have just been giving him props, like, hey, you've done a really nice job. We want you to start the game. Kind of like a hats off to him. But I never at any point expected him to get a bunch of carries in this one. I actually was surprised he even got in this one. I mean, personally, I'd rather have Robert Woods carrying the football just because I know he has that veteran presence and the been there done that mentality, whereas Jake Funk is a rookie. Rookies tend to put the ball on the carpet a little bit, so you feel better with Sony Michel, you feel better with Robert Woods, what have you. The running back spot was interesting. Buddy Howell is a guy that I like, really good special teamer, but he was brought off the practice squad for this game, and he did get a chance to play, albeit not on the offensive side. It'll be interesting to see how significant this Henderson injury is, because it went from game time decision to we had a decision at 6 a.m. So, I mean, I don't know where this is leaning, but, if he's out for a considerable amount of time, I think Sony Michel's good enough. I think the offense is good enough for it to not kill them. Obviously, they just beat, Tampa. But you do want Darrell Henderson back. There were moments in this game where, there's a nice screen set up, but, you look at Sony Michel, he doesn't have that long speed. He doesn't have the burst that Darrell Henderson has. And you saw, early on when they used that, it just wasn't there. Whereas Henderson would have taken that for 20 yards. So that's the big thing there. Henderson's also better in pass pro, although shout out to Sony Michel today. He was really good in pass pro. But yeah, like you said, with Jake Funk starting or, getting that rep and not coming back in, those are the only two, running backs. So, it's like you want to get Henderson back soon for that depth. And I think it makes a lot of sense. Life is back on sports bettors, and BetUS has your NBA, NHL, UFC, PGA, and yes, NFL betting lines up on their 27th year and live betting on all of it. Log into BetUS, that is BETUS.com, or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BETUS. BetUS for 125% bonuses with promo code RAMS125. Customer service pros are ready to get your phone, social, and online sports betting kickoff started now. Play with the proven mainstay in the industry, BetUS. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. Ready for an out-of-world experience, fellas? Look no further than the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped. That has just taken off in not only the USA, but Canada, the UK, across Europe, Australia, South Africa, and Singapore. Inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your whole solar system in. First scheduled for liftoff, new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, this spaceship is here to guide you on a journey to trim your body, balls, butt, and even your anus. This 4th generation trimmer also features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. Thanks to our advanced skin-safe technology, the Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor and a new multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock and is even waterproof. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 4000K LED spotlight you can turn on and off when needed for a more precise shave throughout your travels across the universe. The Performance 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker. It's like having a little astronaut to chop your worst weeds up the top of your nose and your ears. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Don't forget about the crop preserver, ball deodorant, and the crop reviver to help your little planets be on their A game while feeling the sun's heat. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Abort hairy balls, Buzz Lightyear that Woody with Manscaped.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking about that as well. With Sony Michel and Jake Funk, that's literally only 2 running backs. So we are kind of thin depth-wise there, but I thought Sony Michel did a really good job, actually. I think, he made the best of the situation. He got a lot of reps in this game. So I'm sure he was very tired, but you couldn't really tell. I think for the most part, I thought that he did a really good job. But yeah, overall, our offense, as we said in the last episode, we expected our offense to play well. We didn't think this game was going to be a blowout by any means. We're obviously not playing the Bears like we did week 1, but we expected our offense to perform well. And I think the interesting thing about our offense and Matthew Stafford is we have to remember this is only Matthew Stafford's 3rd game playing with this team in an actual game. Matthew Stafford didn't play in the preseason, so he is still... obviously he gets reps with everyone in practice, but as far as actual game situations, which are entirely different, he's still kind of getting into the rhythm with everybody, and he's playing really well. Obviously, Cooper Kupp seems to be his favorite target. I think he also appears to really like throwing to Tyler Higbee. I think, Robert Woods hasn't seen as much action yet, but I expect that he will in the coming weeks. So it's really fun to watch. I definitely think that Stafford, aside from, kind of a few weird throws, played really, really well. It was very impressive. And I think that looking at this game, if you're a Rams fan, as I've said, I think this is the toughest game that we were going to play all season. On paper, this is the best team that we were going to play. And we won by 10 points.
This is the best team. This is the best game in the year, I think.
Yeah, I think that, these are 2 very good teams. And again, I have to give credit to the Bucs. Obviously we outplayed them today. I think we dominated them, but they still are a very good team. They have a lot of really good players. They're going to be a playoff team, and they'll probably go pretty far in the playoffs. So we should take this as a very good sign that we were able to perform against them the way that we did and be very encouraged. I think that, again, this is just, it's great. But yeah, other than that, I know that there's no major plot points, I guess. We kind of covered a lot of it. There wasn't anything. Thankfully, there weren't any big injuries this game.
I'm hoping Justin Hollins checks out okay. He had a pectoral injury. If it's a torn pec, he's out for the year, which would be awful.
Okay.
Played really well, looked good in coverage.
He did play really well. Well, I was thinking, I forgot about the Justin Hollins thing. And then obviously Gronk, who's not in our team, but he came back in.
He has got to wear rib protection.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, I was surprised.
I thought all tight ends wore flak jackets.
Right. Yeah, most of them do. Majority of them.
That's why they look so big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't
but I think that there's a lot to look forward to. We're gonna do an episode later this week covering, previewing obviously our game against the Cardinals, who are also 3-0. And then as we make this podcast, the 49ers are currently taking on the Packers. I have no idea what the score of that game is.
They're down 17-0.
Okay, down 17-0 to the Packers. Right now, the Seahawks are 1-2. Right.
And the Cardinals honestly played down to the Jaguars, and
they barely won today.
37-yard field goal away from being 2-1. So
and I'm honestly not worried about the NFC West, to be honest. I do think that we are one of the better divisions, but I think that, just based on schedules, I think the Rams are going to be fine. So I think, but it's still, nevertheless, when we go against the Cardinals next week, and we'll talk about it more, obviously, when we do our preview, we're 3-0 and they're 3-0. So someone's got to lose, and
Yeah.
someone's unbeaten streak is going to be over. So that adds another layer onto our already rivalry that we have. It adds kind of another fun little element to that.
They haven't
But
beaten Sean McVay since they haven't beaten the Rams since Sean McVay took over. So
that is
that's a big
very
one.
true.
That's
Very
I mean,
true.
think about that. That's a huge monkey off their back. If they beat the Rams, they could gain momentum. But I mean, that's a huge thing for the Rams as well. And by the way, Sean McVay, he continued his streak, that crazy
Yeah. Halftime
undefeated
streak.
at halftime streak. Yeah, 40-0. So congrats to him. That is some
Yep.
accomplishment. And to me, I mean, I don't know if what your thoughts were on this. I watched the Chiefs lose today to the Chargers, so I think the Chargers are a damn good football team. The Cowboys beat the Chargers. Cowboys almost beat the Bucs. They're a good football team. So but the Chiefs are 1-2, and that was one of the teams that people were saying automatic, potential undefeated, but automatic 1 seed. And here they are. They lose the tiebreaker to the Chargers early on in the season. This is another team, the Bucs, that I was hearing were unbeatable. There's no way. You have everybody back. It's, they won the Super Bowl last year. And I mean, this is the same team that they lost to. And I mean, not the same team. This team's a lot better. So I wasn't surprised. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I wasn't surprised the Rams came out and, really dominated from the get-go. So, I mean, this is a huge win. This is a statement win. If you do power rankings and you don't have the Rams at 1, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I haven't seen a team in the NFL this impressive so far. This was a huge win, a statement win. And you could just see there's a different feel in the air. When you look at, Sean McVay and the way he's running around the sidelines and, how hyped he is and how he was smiling the way he was, coming over to Stafford and talking with him, you can just tell that this team is built different, and he knows. He's heard the criticism. He's heard, okay, well, this is boy wonder, but what did he do? He went to the playoffs his first year, went to the Super Bowl his second year, didn't make the playoffs his third year, and then got bounced out in the divisional round his fourth year. And so people are starting to, doubt him. And I even heard, in the season from Rams fans saying, well, would Sean McVay be on the hot seat? No, he absolutely would not be on the hot seat. So just looking at everything, this is a huge win. Everything, all along the way. I mean, you had some great contribution out of your offense, your defense, and your special teams. Shout out to Kenny Young, who balled out today, coming back from getting DQ'd in the game against Indy for making incidental contact with an official. Had 3 tackles for a loss, had a QB hit, had a sack, had 10 tackles, 8 of them being solo. Of course, Mr. Jalen Ramsey is just unreal. Aaron Donald, unreal. Nice to see Ben Skoranek out there, and he was rocking a new number. He's not wearing 81 anymore. He's wearing 18. I don't know if you caught that.
I thought he was always 18, to be honest, but
No, he's 81. But see, it throws you off because he went from 81 to 18. Can't do that.
it's true.
I thought it was Cup at first. It totally threw me off.
Do we want to get into the number change rule or not?
We can, because I think it's just flat out stupid. I mean,
I
all
hate
right,
it.
Deshaun Jackson with the 1 works for me.
I just feel like when
I'm okay with 1 as a receiver number. I don't know why. I just am.
But like seeing Darius Williams in number 11.
Well, that's annoying.
It's so how can I think of how to phrase this without cursing? It confuses your brain when you're watching the game and there's like linebackers in like single digits or corners in single digits and number 11, and I just don't like it. And I know that people are like, oh, you're so boring, but I do think that like having kind of like having like a specific range of numbers for each position does add a sense of structure that just makes it aesthetically easier to watch.
I agree.
like knowing
That's
that the
also a big
corner.
turnoff for me with college is like, kickers wearing 83 and, quarterbacks are pretty much always,
Well, I
just the
think
regular teams and everything. But
college is a little different because they run out of numbers because there's so many people. So I think like in college you have like a number 5 on offense and then a number 5 on defense
yeah,
because there's just so many people. But like I just think with the NFL, it's helpful because like when you're looking at a receiver and a corner, right?
yeah,
If they're both wearing number 11, like it's just so much easier. And again, people are like, oh, get over it. But like, you understand what I'm saying? Like it
yeah,
makes it so
of
much easier
course.
to identify who is who.
Tom Brady said it's a competitive disadvantage for the quarterbacks because
Well, it is because you're now trying to figure out what number. Like usually, like if like before, if you saw like a number like 55, you'd say, okay, there's a linebacker. He's a linebacker.
yeah,
Or now it's like you see a number 6, and you're like, he could be a linebacker, he could be a corner. And I'm being dramatic because I'm sure you could figure it out by looking at them.
No, I mean,
The
it's
different
annoying.
sizes,
I mean, I
but
was
it is
watching the Giants
annoying.
game, like Sterling Shepard wearing 3. I'm like, I understand that was his college number, but I'm like, I don't know. Again, 1, I don't know why, but 1 looks fine. Maybe because it's like Tavon Austin wore 1 in practice and scrimmages. So I was like, okay, I'm used to it. Like a receiver wearing 1. It's like LeBron James, how he wore 6, with the Lakers, but he actually played at 23, right? Tavon wore 11, but he wore 1 in practice. I mean, I don't hate that. There's certain numbers I don't hate. I feel like 7 on a bulk running back, like a big-bodied running back, like Leonard Fournette, looks just beyond weird.
Again, and that's what I can't figure out. Is it just weird because we're not used to it, or is it weird because it's weird?
It's just weird because some numbers look good on players
And
and
again,
some do not.
well, I think for me,
Like
again,
Deshaun looks good with a 1 on. I don't know why, but he just does.
well, for me, it's more about structure. It's not so much about like, I guess, I mean,
No, I agree with you.
aesthetically, but like I'm also very OCD, so it could just be me. But for me, I'm like, I like the structure that if you're a certain position, you get a specific range of numbers because it is easier to identify and it just looks cleaner on the field than when you have all these random numbers being thrown around. Is it a huge deal? No. I mean, clearly it's not. The NFL passed the rule thanks to the Chiefs, and
It's so weird. All these rules, and you're like, yeah, you know what we should do? We should just change
of
the
all the
number
rules that we should change, and they were like, you know what, we're going to change the number rule.
Like, not the
because
illegal man downfield rule, not the fact that you accidentally make a contact with an official and you get kicked out rule. By the way, I don't like that rule because Kenny Young last week did not punch an official like some outlets were calling it. He got animated explaining and accidentally hit the official's head off, like hit the hat off. You know what I mean? To me, that's like a penalty, but I don't feel like you should be disqualified for that unless it's like with intent.
yeah. No,
I don't know.
I
It sucks.
but yeah, it just seems like of all the rules to change, that they change this. And also, we're like players really wanting this rule change because, like, here's the thing: a lot of these
some
were, but
definitely.
like, and some changed their number, but like, I didn't get the vibe that this was like something that they were like their line in the sand. Like they were like, we really want this. I think they're like, oh, that's cool. Like Jalen Ramsey, he wasn't dying to be number 5. He did it because he could.
It sounded like he was pretty hyped to do it, but yeah,
well,
no, I agree with you.
He was excited to do it, but he wasn't like campaigning. Like he wasn't
Fuller,
like dying on that hill.
In 2 seconds. He's like, oh, I'm going to be 4 like in college. I was like, all right. But no, I think the one that actually annoys me the most, we're going up against their team this week, the Cardinals. Seeing number 2 Edmonds and number 6 James Conner is just vomit inducing. Like it really annoys me, and I don't know why. It shouldn't.
I think it's just a combination of needing to get used to it, but also it is just kind of sloppy looking when you have.
Well, you know,
it's harder. It's just harder to identify, kind of like Tom Brady said. Like it becomes kind of like it's just weird.
Not enough people are changing their numbers, so it also just makes you stick out like a sore thumb.
So you have like a random number 3.
Yeah, like Leonard Fournette's rocking 7. So you have 12 under center, Tom Brady. Leonard Fournette's in the backfield rocking 7. Then you have Mike Evans rocking 13. Godwin rocking 14. No one in that receiver group changed their number to a single digit. So it just looks weird. It just looks like you're out of place. And then the defense, I don't think anybody on the Bucs defense has a single digit number.
I don't know, but you're right. It does look, because not enough people did it. So you just have these like random number changes. So when you're watching, you're like, what's going on?
And honestly, it's a total pain when you're playing Madden. I don't know if you got the new Madden, but
I haven't. I just don't know.
It's such a pain because say, someone's throwing deep down the field and you see number 11, it's like, of course it's Darius Williams, but in the moment you think like they caught the ball or something. You know what I mean? Like it's so hard to tell what's going on because it's just like 11 and 5. And
I might even go in and like change his number back because you can edit players.
Yeah. What's weird? Since they changed their number, I haven't worn their jerseys. So like I have 31 Darius Williams. I have 32 Fuller, which by the way, you had 32 and you changed your number. What are you doing? And like I have jerseys like that. And it's like guys change their number, like Cam Akers changed his to 3. And then he changed it back to 23. But it's just, I don't know, it's like annoying to me. You said it best. It's about structure. It's also about some sort of integrity as well. Like with the way the NFL is, the whole point is it's not like college. College is it's not like, what's the best word I'm looking for? It's not organized. It's really not. You said there's a ton of players and all that, and they have to, change their number and all of that because, well, there's all those numbers. But furthermore, like Oregon wears a different uniform every week, right? They've probably worn like 70 different uniforms in the last like, however many years. Whereas the NFL is more structured. The NFL has things by the book. They have rules like that to create uniformity. It's like if you're just say you're the Patriots and you run out like a purple and pink jersey or whatever, like that doesn't have anything to do with the Patriots color scheme. It's that type of thing it became with Oregon because Oregon started like rolling out like crazy. I mean, we're talking they had the breast cancer awareness, which is cool. But like the helmet was like bright pink and it just looked really off. You know what I mean? It's like changing your logo, your brand entirely. It's always kind of weird to me. Whereas the NFL has more structure, and that's kind of the deal with the numbers is that, okay, when I'm watching college football, a wide receiver, a corner, a running back can wear single digits. When I'm watching NFL, I just don't ever see that. So I just assume it's not the case. Now, if there's that rule, it's like, it's kind of, I guess the NFL is trying too much to kind of like merge with college. That like, and they're doing that with everything, play calling, schemes, things like that. College jerseys. And the NFL are merging, and now the jerseys are as well. Especially, God, I am so glad the Rams have a nameplate. Like they have like the Rams plate above their like, like the chest, but like, at least they don't have Los Angeles like font over the number. You know what I'm saying? Like when the Browns did that, when they first launched their new uniforms, that is so college to me. And I like hate it so much.
Yeah. I don't know. Crazy. The game's always evolving and a lot of weird stuff happening.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to do it for us this episode. Again, really happy that the Rams won. Really happy that the Rams won what was, again, on paper, their hardest game of the season. Not to say that we won't have hard games coming up, but this was a really big win. As always, if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. You can follow us on social media at Downtown Rams. You can follow me on Twitter at the Alexis Craft. That's Craft with a K. And you can follow Jake at JK Bogan. And guys, we will be back later this week previewing our matchup against Arizona. But until then, stay safe, take care, and go Rams.
Bet with the 3-decade leader, BetUS. Join now for 125% bonus or 200% bonus with crypto using promo code RAMS125. And bet sports, casino, horses, pop culture, and more at betus.com. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code DTR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and make sure to use code DTR. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.